Hello everyone, I'm K. Sadashiva. Welcome to my channel KLR Educators. Please make a note that we are running a course on world modern history on every Sundays. So those who are following my videos on modern Indian history, I request you guys to watch those videos too, so that it will cover your world modern history syllabus. And also please make a running notes which will be helpful for you for your future reference. So by making a running notes, you can revise things easily in future. That's why in every video I am repeating again and again to make a running notes. It is very much important in your preparation. And in our previous lecture, we have discussed about the Charter Act of 1830. We have discussed everything and every provision that was given under the Charter Act of 1813. We have discussed the changes that happened in England because of this Charter Act, and also we have discussed about the changes that happened in India because of this Charter Act. So today we are going to discuss about the Charter Act of 1833 and the Charter Act of 1853. So let's start with our today's lecture. Charter Act of 1833. With this act, centralization of the British power took place. So by this Charter Act, complete centralization of the British power took place. Governor General of Bengal was now made Governor General of India. So now until Charter Act of 1813, there was Governor General of Bengal who was ruling India. But now this Governor General of Bengal was made Governor General of India. Why they made Governor General of India? So we have to understand what are the provisions that are given under this act. Let's see. First Governor General of India was Lord William Bentinck. So now the Governor of Bengal who turned into Governor General of India, he was Lord William Bentinck. So Lord William Bentinck was the first person who was acting as Governor General of Bengal earlier, and now he was made Governor General of India. Now complete power was centralized at Bengal. So whatever the power that was given to Madras and Bombay, that will be deprived by the British Parliament, and the entire power will be centralized at Bengal. The legislative power of Bombay and Madras presidencies were deprived. So as we discussed in the earlier slide, the legislative powers of Bombay and Madras presidencies were deprived and the power was centralized completely at Bengal. All laws under various previous regulating acts were modified. Complete commercial powers of East India Company was deprived, and now East India Company was only an administrative body. So whatever the commercial powers that was given to the East India Company was deprived completely, and now East India Company will be only a administrative body which will be working under the British Parliament. Whatever territories that are held by the East India Company will be held in trust of His Majesty and his successors. So whatever the territories that are possessed by the East India Company, so it will be possessed under the name of the Majesty, means the King of the British, but not on the name of the East India Company. It means that East India Company will be working under the British government. An initiative of introducing open competition for selection of civil servants, stating the Indian should not be barred. So an initiative of introducing open competition for selection of civil servants was initiated in this act, but it was rejected. So this act gave a provision that Indians should also be allowed to take part in the selection process of civil servants. So but the Court of Directors rejected it, and hence it was not done under this act. So the Court of Directors rejected this provision, and hence this was not passed under this act. Later in the Charter Act of 1853, this provision was accepted by the British government. So it was rejected in the Charter Act of 1833, but if you take the Charter Act of 1853, this initiative of selecting civil servants from India will be passed. So now Indians will be allowed to take part in these civil services, and this initiative was introduced and accepted in the Charter Act of 1853. So we will be discussing all the provisions that were given in the Charter Act of 1853 in the upcoming slides. Charter Act of 1833. Company got another 20 years the company's political and administrative authority. So another 20 years they got some of the political and administrative powers where their commercial powers were completely deprived. Company lost his monopoly over all trade activities and had only some administrative responsibilities. This is the most important point of this act. So the East India Company lost its monopoly over all the trade activities. Now it has only administrative responsibilities. It invested the board of control with full power and authority over the company. So board of control was given full power and authority over the East India Company. Governor General of Bengal or East India Company here onwards called the Governor General of India. So as discussed earlier, the Governor General of Bengal was made Governor General of India. A centralized government established under the leadership of Governor General with full power and authority in all civil and military matters. So who will be heading the government? He is the Governor General of India, who will be working under the British Parliament. Charter Act of 1853. So this was the last Charter Act in the series of Charter Acts. So taking from the Regulating Act of 1773, many acts were passed by the British government. So this Charter Act of 1853 was the last Charter Act in this series of Charter Acts. So what were the provisions given under this act? For the first time, the executive body was separated from the legislative of Governor General Council. So the executive body was completely separated from the legislative of Governor General Council. This paved the way to establish a separate Governor General Legislative Council. So an executive was separated. It paved the way to establish a separate Governor General Legislative Council. So executive body is separate and Governor General Legislative Council will be a separate body. A separate Indian Legislative Council was established. It consisted of 6 Legislative Council members and 4 local governors of Madras, Bombay, Bengal and Agra. So this Legislative Council consisted of 6 Legislative Council members who are from British and 4 local governors who are from Madras, Bombay, Bengal and Agra. It acted as mini parliament of the British, adopting the same procedure as British Parliament. So the Legislative Council that is present in India acted as a mini parliament and it adopted the same procedure and provisions that are adopted by the British Parliament. By this act, open competition system for Indian civil services was introduced by the Macaulay Committee. So in this Charter Act of 1853, Macaulay Committee accepted that Indians can take part in the civil services examination. So these civil services examinations were conducted in England and now the Indians who are interested can also take part in these civil services examinations. Now the supreme power rested in the hands of the British Parliament. So the complete authority that was given to the East India Company will be deprived and now the supreme power will be rested in the hands of the British Parliament. Charter Act of 1853. This was the last charter enacted between 1793 and 1853, took a step in separating legislature from executives. So the main provision in this Charter Act of 1853 is it separated the executive from legislature. The act created a separate legislative council for India consisting of 12 members. Legislature was for the first time treated as a special function of the government requiring special machinery and special process. No law made by the council could be promulgated without the assent of the Governor General, who had the power to veto any bill of the Legislative Council. So here the Governor General of India was made supreme. So if you want to make any law, if you want to make any changes in any kind of law, we should get the assent of Governor General of India for sure. This act paved way for the transfer of Indian territories to the Crown and the career of East India Company to an end. So by this Charter Act of 1853, the complete powers and the complete authority that was given to East India Company was deprived and now the complete powers and authority was transferred to the Crown of the British and it was given to the Governor General of India who will be working under the British. So these are the provisions that are given under the Charter Act of 1853. So with this we have completed all the Charter Acts and we are done with our today's session. Hope you understood everything about the Charter Act of 1833 and 1853. So if you like this video, please give a like, share these videos to your friends who are preparing for many competitive examinations and please don't forget to make running notes which will be useful for your future reference. So if you like my video, please give a like, share these videos to your friends and subscribe my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. So thanks for watching my video. Thank you one and all. Jai Hind.